be talking all about the EPIK orientation. So if you want to know about the EPIK orientation and some of the tips that I have, then keep on watching. Because I didn't film during orientation, this video isn't going to show a lot of the things that are happening during orientation, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail just because my phone at the time was very crappy and I was also lazy, so I didn't record anything. But most of what I'm going to be talking about is things that you should keep in mind and just tips to kind of help you get through orientation. So this spring intake orientation was held in Chungju in the Konkuk University Global Campus. And what's different about orientation this spring intake is that usually orientation is split up into at least 2 or 3 different venues. So depending on the province or the city that you're placed in will depend on where you attend orientation. So usually EPIK splits all of the teachers up into 2 or 3 different groups. So team 1 might be Seoul, Incheon, other provinces and cities around the Seoul area. Team 2 might be Daegu, all the provinces and cities that are in the center of Korea, and then team 3 may be Busan, so all of the cities and the provinces near the south of Korea. But this intake, EPIK decided to put everyone onto one campus, so orientation was in one location this year, which meant that all 600 and something of us teachers were on the same university campus, which I can see the pros and the cons of doing that. One, it was convenient because everyone's all in one location. We're not all spread out throughout the country, but that's a lot of people. That's a lot of foreigners all in one area, and it's just a lot. There's a lot going on, and also the fact that there are 2 different orientations going on at the same time, it can kind of be confusing and throw people off a little bit. So team 1 started orientation a day before team 2. I was in team 2 and I started orientation after team 1. So here are some of the things that you can expect during orientation. Number 1, you will be tired. You will be exhausted. I feel like people don't really realize that, especially if you're coming from the United States, where like the time zone is even more than most of the other countries. Like, you will be tired, you will be exhausted, especially from the jet lag, just having to adjust to being in a different country. Your body is trying to adjust to like all the stress that you're putting your body under, and so I would definitely suggest to come early. I know some people flew into Korea the day that EPIK was picking up people to take us to the university campus. But if you can at all arrive early, I would definitely suggest arriving early. 1, so you can have your body adjust to, the time zone and the country and everything, but also just to be able to explore and kind of relax. So then your body isn't so stressed out once you're going into orientation, because it's a lot. It's a lot. The second thing that you should expect is a very busy schedule. The EPIK orientation has so much packed into it that you rarely have a time for a break, to be honest. Like, you are in classes and sessions from 9 in the morning to 6, 7 p.m. and that includes weekends as well. Like, there are classes on Sundays too. Saturday is like a cultural field trip, so it's not like you're in the classroom, listening to lectures. So at least, it's a different kind of setting, but still you have the entire week planned out from morning to night. Like, it will be busy. The third thing to expect during orientation is the air quality. So while we were in Chungju, the air was pretty bad. It was really bad. There were some mornings where you couldn't even see in front of you. It was just really bad. And so it got to the point that the EPIK staff actually provided us all masks. It was that bad. In the university, there are some convenience stores that you can buy masks or you can buy, snacks from. Like they have a 7-Eleven. They had a 7-Eleven and a CU, and you could buy a mask there, but it got to the point where they were running out of masks because everyone was buying all of the masks, and so EPIK provided us with masks. I think for 2 or 3 different days they gave us masks, which is really nice, but at the same time it's kind of like, wow, the air is this bad. Like, it's not nice. While you are here, I would definitely suggest downloading some air quality apps that you can use to check the air, and some of them can also send you alerts if the air is super bad, so it will notify you when you need to wear a mask. If you have a Korean SIM card in your phone, I think it's only for people that have Korean SIM cards in their phone. The government sends out, what are those called? The government sends out emergency alerts, kind of like an Amber Alert. So, everything is in Korean, but you can translate it, or you can see if it says Mise, then that means that it's talking about the air quality, and it's saying that the air is going to be very bad, so you should wear a mask, or you shouldn't drive, or you should use public transportation. The fourth thing to expect is the food. So from watching past orientation videos, a lot of them mentioned that the food that was served was a mix between Korean and Western style buffets. And this year at orientation, there wasn't really Western food, which I didn't have a problem with. Like, I liked the food that was served, but I think definitely just knowing that every orientation is different, especially if it's in a different location, then it's not going to be the same. So just know that, what I'm saying now might not be the case for fall 2019 orientation or for the next orientations to come. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, the food isn't always the same, the housing, the dorms aren't always the same, even the class sessions aren't always the same. The fifth thing to expect during orientation is luggage. So when I watched previous orientation videos, some people mentioned that EPIK only allowed them to bring their carry-on into the room that they were staying in, and that EPIK pretty much kept the rest of the luggages in like a storage area, so then it wouldn't be super crowded in the dorm spaces. So I made sure to pack whatever I was using at orientation into my carry-on, and in the end, EPIK allowed us to take all of our bags with us. So, I feel like this is kind of something you should do anyway when you're packing, is keeping clothes that you can wear in your carry-on, just in case something happens with your checked bags. At least you have your carry-on. And so I think that you should pack the clothes that you plan on wearing to orientation in your carry-on, just in case EPIK's like, oh, there's no space, everyone keep your bags in here and keep only your carry-on with you. Which leads us into the next topic, the dorm. So this year at orientation, Team 1 and Team 2 are staying in 2 different dormitories. We stayed in the Moshire dormitory, which is set up to have 4 people staying in a room. So there are bunk beds, and there are tables, and a whole closet, and it's set up to be 4 people, but for us, we only had 2 people staying in a room. So our bed space was actually really big, and we had plenty of space for our luggage and everything. When you get to the orientation registration table, pretty much the person that is in front of you or next to you is who you're rooming with. So if you have a friend, stand next to your friend. If you don't have friends, just keep an eye out on who's in front of you and who's behind you, just in case you end up rooming with them. I think you can also say, oh, I want to room with my friend. They'll totally be cool with it. So since our rooms were set up for 4 people, that meant that there were community bathrooms in our hallway. So I believe in our hallway there were 2 bathrooms. Each bathroom had about 8 to 10 stalls for toilets, and then on the other side there were sinks, and then there were also about 8 to 10 shower stalls. So yeah, it's a community bathroom. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. And to be honest, I thought that it would get a lot more crowded and dirty, just knowing that there's so many people living on our floor, but it actually wasn't super crowded or even dirty. Yeah, it wasn't really crowded at all, so I didn't mind it. I know that for Team 1 and the dorms that they were staying in, it was 2 people to a room, but it was a very tiny room, and they also had the bathroom in their dorm room, which is nice. They had a bathroom in their room, but the bathroom was really small, and yeah, to be honest, it just depends on wherever the orientation is taking place. The next thing to think about when you're coming to orientation is clothing. Watching past EPIK orientation videos, I noticed that a lot of people didn't really dress up every day, and so yeah, you do not have to wear a suit and a tie every day at orientation. Like, no one is gonna take away your job because you're wearing sweats. Like, I was wearing sweats and a beanie and Nike sneakers like almost every other day. Like, I did not care about how I looked, to be honest. So yeah, no one really cares about what you're wearing during orientation. The only days that it matters is the day that you're meeting with your Office of Education. You want to dress up really nice. As long as you're dressed business casual and looking really professional, then that's what really matters. The first day, you don't have to dress up. You can look nice, but you don't have to dress up. It's just the welcoming ceremony. And yeah, honestly, just really the day that you're meeting with your Office of Education is when you really need to dress up. The rest of the days you can wear jeans and a t-shirt or sweats. It doesn't really matter. Another important thing is also to just be aware of the season that you're arriving in Korea. So since we came in February, it was really cold. Just make sure to be prepared for the cold. If you're coming in during August or September in the fall intake, it's kind of in the summer time, so it's going to be really hot. So yeah, just be aware of the time that you're coming into Korea. The next thing to talk about is the medical check. So for the medical check, it was pretty basic. The only thing that I feel like is important to know is to not take any medication. That includes pain medication. Don't take any medication until your medical check is over with. If you do have a prescription for something that you do need to take, then you are allowed to take it, and you can take your prescription with you to the medical check so you can show it to the doctors and nurses. Another important thing is piercings. So they do tell you to take out all jewelry from your body because you do have an x-ray exam. And so even for the x-ray, even though it's only a chest x-ray, they still require you to take out earrings. I don't remember if I took my cartilage piercings out. I think I did at the last minute. I remembered to take them out. Yeah, they do require you to take them out. Even if you have a retainer, they still tell you that you shouldn't have plastic, which I know in the US, like, it's totally fine to wear retainers in your piercings, especially if they're like nipple piercings or like dermal piercings, that it's still acceptable. But here in Korea, it's kind of like, yeah, just take it out. So if you do have body piercings or nipple piercings, don't wear a retainer. Just take them out, and as soon as you get out of the x-ray, like, put it in super fast before it closes up. The Wi-Fi during orientation at our dorm was actually pretty good. I think maybe 1 or 2 times it wasn't good, or it wasn't allowing myself and my friend to connect on our phones or our computers. So because I bought a SIM card, an unlimited data SIM card previously at the airport, like, I just used that to hotspot, and I was able to hotspot my computer, my friend's cell phone, and her laptop and have no problems. But the Wi-Fi was pretty good considering the amount of people that were at orientation. Like, it was pretty fast, it was pretty good. Just a few times it was kind of not allowing us to connect. I'll leave a link in the description box to where I purchased the SIM card. And a thing to note is that if you do plan on buying this SIM card, I would buy it online before you come, because if you arrive at the airport and you buy it, it's like $20 more than the price online, so you should definitely buy it online. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything about the EPIK orientation that I wanted to mention. If I forgot something, I'll leave it in the description box. If you have any questions about the orientation, leave me a comment, and I would definitely suggest watching other people's videos about the orientation since I didn't film anything. I think it's kind of better to see the orientation and actually, see what the classes are like. The classes could possibly change every orientation, but I think for the most part, like, most of the schedule is kind of the same. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.